All right, it says we're live. How's it going tonight, guys? So I got the earbuds in tonight because I don't know what the hell's going on with my audio, but it's not working on this thing. So we'll have to go with these if anybody does the call in. So I'm dropping the join link early. So tonight's talk is chasing excellence, which is something we've kind of talked about on and off, and it's a big part of sort of what I am, who I do, what I promote. Should be doing that with everything in life, your fitness, your health, your business, your job, career, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is that you do. Um, be the best you can be at it. That's what I've always tried to do. It's done well and served me well in life. I've tried to build this thing, and for some reason, hasn't really caught on. I haven't pushed it a whole lot here lately either. Um, Summer's coming. It's motorcycle season, as I've mentioned before, so I'm going to start spending more time doing that, and also doing what I say of chasing excellence. I've been pursuing a couple of opportunities in business, and I got a couple that are coming pretty close and look like things might start happening, which is going to interfere, make scheduling this or at least appearing at my time because I'm in the West. I fly this at 8 o'clock in the East, which is 6 o'clock in the West where I'm from on the Mountain Time Zone. And that time could get a little bit tight. So between business, summertime, I like to spend on the motorcycle in the mountains. I enjoy life and date a lot. And so because of that, just going to announce that from here on forward, I'm going to kill this show. I haven't really had any growth for probably 3 or 4 months. I think I've gained like 1 subscriber in the last 3 months, something like that. I know I don't promote it real well. I was hoping for a little bit more organic growth. And there's talk of a couple other things requiring some more attention, as well as business. So between all of that and summertime, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill this. So I may spin it up. I haven't really figured that out yet, but I may spin it up differently. Probably won't be the same channel, or certainly not the same podcast anyhow. But I may spin it back up more along the lines of, as you guys know, like I said, I ride motorcycles in the mountains all the time. My dog rides with me on a motorcycle. Everywhere I go, she gets all kinds of attention. She's cute as shit. She's sitting over there. Don't know if we can see that. Where is she? There's the Abby girl. Oh, microphone in the way. So she's cute as shit. Everybody gets a kick out of her riding along on the motorcycle. So I should have had a picture ready to share, but I don't. My bad. Lack of prep. Unprofessional, call it whatever you want. It's who I am. So everywhere I go, she gets all kinds of attention. So I get a lot more attention with that. And I think there's probably a better opportunity to build a brand, build a following, and do something with that. Little less time commitment, a little more, I don't know if I should say less time commitment. One thing about the live show is there's no editing involved. I stand here and I chat with you guys for a while on a topic. And when I'm done, I'm done. It's cut. It's over. Recorded stuff requires some effort, editing, which I'm not real good at, but it's something I need to work on for myself and for my business and the things that I do as well. So it'll take a little more effort, but it's also a lot more flexible. It's not like I'm scheduled at a certain time of the week to do it. I can, film here, film there, do what I got to do. Yeah, go achieve excellence for sure. Don't just chase it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So anyhow, because of that, that is kind of tonight's topic is exactly that, which I've done in life. I did that with my trucking business. I started out, bought my first truck when I was 21 years old, and kind of went from there, and then discovered that, geez, some of these guys own their own trailers, and then some of these guys own bigger trailers and bigger stuff, and I can do that. I know I can do that. Maybe not with 100% skill right now today, but it's something I can definitely learn. So I chased it and I pursued it, and I achieved it in a big, big way. I was easily in the top 1% of earners in my industry by far. I had big multi-million-dollar corporations chasing my clients all the time. So clearly I did something right. So I know I have the ability to achieve success, and I have the formula. I know the hard work that it takes. And I've kind of been doing that. Not wholeheartedly. I'm going to start putting more effort into it. But I've got a couple opportunities that are very, very close that I'm literally about to wrap up. So, like I said, with that, it just means that I need to be more nimble in life. I need to be able to be more flexible with my availability, which is why I'm killing this. So, and one of those actually possibly includes relocating outside the country. So, don't know yet. We'll see. Time will tell. It's not going to happen tomorrow by any chance, by any means. But I am still available. I'm an active member of Ridge Cooper's 1% group. I'm also an admin in the 10% group. So it's not like I'm impossible to find or get a hold of. You know where I am on Facebook. And hell, most of you guys that actually watch me and pay attention to this probably have my phone number, for Christ's sake. So I don't really, it's not like I'm really going away where you're never going to see me again. It's just away from the show where I'm doing this on a regular basis. Just kind of looked at it. The mechanical things sort of seem to be somewhat popular, seem to have pretty decent engagement. But I don't always have a project to do. So it's either rather than doing, like I was doing 2 hours, actually just straight work on the bike, I work on it, record it, and break it down, which drops along the way as content, because I'm not going to have my motorcycle torn apart for the entire year because summers are short. And went for a ride last night, which quite frankly, I don't know if anybody in here is from, well, actually I know got a guy in the green room, going to bring him in a minute, from Alberta, but right now the air sucks out here. The wind has changed direction and brought the smoke in from the forest fires. Went out on a ride last night, came home and couldn't hardly breathe. I'm sure you can tell my voice is off a little bit. It looks like it's snowing or foggy outside. It's so thick. Like from my place, I see the mountains, not a problem. Right now, we can't see 2 miles. So, and the mountains are about 80, 90 miles away. So it's kind of crappy with that. But other than that, it's supposed to be nice as hell this weekend. And I'm going to wrap up work kind of early on Friday and have some fun on the weekend. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I guess it's kind of why I've dropped the join link in so early. Let guys kind of come in and maybe make some suggestions or tell me what their thoughts are, different ideas going forward. But like I said, for now, that's the goal with this that is the plan. I'm just going to kill this totally. So it's all going to be kind of done and shut off as of tonight. I'll still do my after call after the show, like I always do for my guys who are in my group. But I know that, like I said, I'm an admin in the 10%. Guys have been talking about wanting more calls in that. And I used to have really good engagement when I was leading those calls about a year ago. We were driving specific subjects. That's kind of where the antithesis of this whole show came from, actually. Sort of the foundation of it is we were driving specific subjects, breaking them down, and guys were learning. And a lot of times we'd actually have 2 calls, 3 calls on the same thing. And for the last little while, we've only been doing monthly calls, and guys are wanting more. And I don't blame them. They paid a membership to be in there, and they want more out of it. So I'm going to help contribute to some engagement and some growth in that. And so that's going to require a little bit of time as well. And just sort of looking at everything I've got to manage and what I'm doing, going to try and focus a little bit on that. So part of that also comes into a bit of an ask from me to you guys. The way that works is when we bring somebody in is when we get paid. So I have at this point brought nobody into the group, but if you know anybody that you think should, maybe isn't at that 1% tier, but is, certainly trying to get their life straightened out and trying to move on, do me a favor. I mean, I'm easy to find, like I said, on Facebook. You can look me up online. I'm easy to find that way as well. Reach out to me and we'll get you in and help guys grow there. Just trying to think what else. Oh, because I know, like, I've never really wanted to tackle real controversial stuff on here. More of just support, lessons learned over life, because I've made a lot of mistakes and learned from them, and trying to help people shortcut the mistakes and not make the same ones I did, because it would have saved life a whole lot more. But anyhow, because of that, I haven't tackled the difficult stuff that I know is a clickbait and gets a lot. Like I've never really tackled girls. I think I've done 1 or 2 episodes on girls because for me it's not difficult. Never really has been. To be completely honest, I'm going to stay home tonight. This will be the first night in a week that I've stayed home. So like it's easy. I don't really know what to talk about or how to talk about it because everybody says well I don't understand, like how do I do it. I don't understand how you don't. So it's kind of difficult to describe that, I guess. uh, Learn to talk to them, and part of this is something I haven't mentioned at all on here, but I've been asked to write a book about my early life and my early adventures. um, I have a very checkered, colorful uh, background, um, a very, very, a very different education for a young man when it comes to women, which is probably why it's so easy for me because I learned so much at such an early age, and ever since then, it's always been easy. So, um, part of the reason I've never been able to tell this story is because the other people who were involved in it do not want or did not want any kind of notoriety or public or anything like that being known because I have a unique name. I'm a very memorable person. People who meet me remember me 10 years from now. It's not something I set out to do. It's just who I am. So because of that, these people that helped me and educated me in my early, like late teens, early 20s, they never wanted me to write anything or put anything out because it would automatically implicate them and family reasons, family ties, uh, societal ties. And I literally mean that. They could not have that happen. It would have disrupted a lot of lives and caused a lot of problems. Well, as I've said before, I'm in my 50s. These ladies were older. So we're at a point now where it doesn't really matter. They're either no longer with us or um, too old where none of this matters, whatnot. So because of that, I actually kind of had an interview a few weeks ago, and by somebody who has wrote same thing, a true story book that uh, became a bestseller and became a movie. And so when somebody kind of overview mentioned my story to her, she's like, I got to meet this guy. So we sat down, we had a meeting for about 6 hours, kind of went over some stuff. She was pretty shocked and amazed at everything that I had and what I'd gone through, what I'd done. And so that was her suggestions. Let's write a book because this is a bestseller. I don't know. I don't have a goddamn clue. I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller. I can talk it. Don't ask me to write it. So that's probably going to wind up what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably speak it, which thankfully with the microphone in the studio and the stuff I've got, I'm probably going to speak it and just have talk to text. And then okay, dude, that made me fucking laugh. That's awesome, Jake. Yeah. So one side of it's kind of embarrassing and the other side is kind of not, but um, well, what the hell? It's the last show. We got nowhere to go. I'm kind of a kinky fucker. I was taught uh, a lot of really kinky things when I was very young by multiple women at the same time. I was actually their toy. And that's sort of the antithesis of what I learned. Because, like I said, I grew up on a farm. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Like, I didn't know hardly anybody when I left home. And one of these women was extremely attractive, and she'd heard a story about me, and she decided she wanted to play. And then she introduced me to all of her friends, and they all did. And they literally gave me I'll put it this way, 50 Shades of Grey is a comic book compared to what I learned and did with these women. No, not on tape in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so uh, that's a big part of it, is that whole side. Uh, like I said, I spent 25 years of my life professionally tying things down for a living. I'm very good at tying things down, all kinds of things in all kinds of ways. So that's largely where it's going to go from. I'll kind of leave it at that, leave a little bit of mystery. So, of course, I will, kind of be announcing that when it finally comes out. It's going to take a while to write. I didn't realize how long it took to write a book. She told me that. I figured, oh, I'll bang this out in like a month or two. No, this is probably a year-long process or more. And then whether it'll actually get published or whether I self-publish it or something, we'll see where it goes from there. She does know some publishers, and she also has part promotions in one. So if it's good enough, she's going to help me with it as well. We're going to push it that way. So who knows what the future holds with that? Could be fun. But with that might come a slight spin-off where, like I said, I've just never talked about it on here. I've always looked at focusing on men and getting better and chasing excellence, leveling up in life, being the best version of yourself. All the cliches, all the bullshit. At the end of the day, you don't really get rid of the bullshit and escape the matrix until you actually literally escape it, as in you're outside of everybody's. That includes me and includes anybody else. I live my life my way, how I choose, the way I want. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks. And that is the true escape of the matrix. And this is something that I'd kind of hoped to get through here and just never really got into that part. I don't really know how to get into that. Is like I'd mentioned last time on the show when I was had my mystery guests on, becoming private and having alternative identities. I've had several alternative identities for quite a long time, and it's allowed me to do things in a very discreet, different way. But I don't want to bring that into here, not real detailed. Part of that is I am going to put together a workshop. I'm actually putting together a workshop with one of the mystery guests, and we're going to show you how to keep yourself private and anonymous, or at least to keep people guessing, to keep yourself safe. Because that is a very big thing in today's society. Everybody wants to, cancel culture is rampant and it's a bitch. And I don't want to see anybody I know mixed up in it. Quite frankly, I think it's bullshit. When I grew up as a kid, it was real simple. If you didn't like what you saw, you had the right to turn it off or change the channel. Nowadays, they just want to remove you. Well, no, everybody's allowed to have their voice. I don't have to agree with you for you to be able to have your voice. You're allowed to have it, whether I agree with you or disagree with you. If I disagree with you, I'm just going to turn it off, change channel. I don't give a shit. So, cool. But we're going to talk about several things here. See if I can bring up my notes quick on what we have here. It's not on this one. Wrong one. So I'll kind of bring up a bit of an overview. It's going to be about a 2-hour workshop. We're looking at a price point of $100 a seat. We're going to do it online. We're not going to do it on Zoom, which is what most people think. That's going to become step one of this, is we're going to use an alternative to that. Because my mystery guest showed me an awful lot of stuff when we were away together. And the amount of tattletales and screaming shit there is on your computer is mind-boggling, and your phone. Like literally everything you use is your data is being mined. And our entire agenda to this is privacy is kind of what we're concerned, or what we talk about is why should people worry about privacy? Well, privacy is a human right. You have a right to be private and to not have your data collected and harvested against you, especially unknowingly. Most of us don't have a clue how much data is being collected against us. So that's what we're going to talk about, is why you should worry about privacy, that it's in all reality the human right, the things that you need to worry about. Like if you'd have told me, which I'm sure we're all aware of, but silly little disease we had lately. If you'd have told me 4 years ago that a first world, highly regarded country is going to put a motion into effect where they can freeze bank accounts without going through the courts, and it was my country, I'd have laughed at you, but it happened. Um, so I'll tell you right now, I don't trust a single government and never will again. Um, because that's not just the government's fault. The people allowed it. The people didn't revolt. So the government is only the symptom of the problem. The people who said it was okay are the problem. And that's a much bigger thing to fry. You can't handle that. So, yeah, be a good one. Yep, 100%. So that's kind of part of it. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that went on there. And this is a big one that we kind of put together and didn't really realize is weaponized compliance, which there's a lot of. We're going to talk about how the companies track you. We're going to actually give you links to apps that you can put on your phone, on your computers, that will actually tell you when data is being sent or block it so that you can prohibit it from being sent. Now, not all of it you can. So there are other things to do that'll be more advanced than what this course is, but we're going to do this kind of as an introductory course because it'll be our first time doing it, our workshop. And we're going to look for feedback and see what guys think. Because, like I said, the stuff I learned over the last couple of weeks was mind-boggling. There's just no other way to put it. And stuff that I want to share, and I think guys should know about. So yeah, going to talk about some of that stuff, how to do that, and there's some other stuff we're talking about, which we have mentioned before, is like the advancements in AI, voice cloning, deep fakes, and that sort of stuff. So to be able to protect yourself with stuff like that is very important. It's going to be part of this workshop, and we're going to show you what to look for. It's not like we're going to say, here, this is what you do and how you do it. We're going to show you how you actually look at something, an app, a computer, a phone, whatever. We're going to show you so you know for yourself. You don't need us holding your hand, looking over your shoulder. You'll be able to go to a store, pick up a device and look at it and go, oh shit, this one's tracking too much. Look at another one. Oh, that one is. Or you'll find an operating system that you can use and get rid of that. We're going to talk about different tools like VPNs. And they're not as private as you think they are, is the big one. And even the ones that everybody thinks are private really aren't. Some email systems, messaging systems. We actually have a message app that this is really cool. So every time that you have a conversation with a new contact, all these contacts are in your phone. You can put them all in your phone. But the app segregates your contacts. And so you want to talk to John. Cool. It brings that in and it creates an alternative profile for you with an alternative ID. And you message with John. Then you want to talk to Bill. You bring Bill in. And so you have your message, how you have all your messages on your phone. Well, a different ID and all that will be created for Bill. So there's no overlay. So it can't be tracked. It can't be put together that this is the same person talking to all these people. It was really cool. We found this thing. It was one of the things we found in our research. It was really neat. So we'll show you some stuffs to mask your real IDs, your real emails and stuff like that. And password managers, which the ones that everybody says are good are garbage. They actually, believe it or not, no, it's not Signal. Being asked that in the chat. No, Signal is not the app that is clean. Signal is actually compromisable. In fact, we've compromised it. So we know it's compromisable. And I'm not very good. So if I can compromise it, it's not very good because I'm elementary school at best at this. So yeah, some password managers. Like one of the things we did is we used I can't remember the name of it now. The most common password manager that everybody talks about that, it's great. It's so secure. We put the monitoring software on the computer and we're watching everything. and the app sent data. Why? It's a password manager. It's supposed to be private passwords on my device. Why is it sending data? Who's it sending it to? So I don't trust it. That was crazy. I see I lost my guy in my green room. If you can, you can pop back in, or I think I have, or I'll just drop it again. Here's the chat. If anybody wants to pop in, just kind of shoot the breeze. I'm just sort of running through my stuff, and then we're gonna kind of chat. So then after that, kind of towards the end of it, we're going to talk about multiple identities and the alternatives to have and the reasons why. And there are some very interesting ways to create profiles that can never be, well, I shouldn't say never, be very difficult to track. There is no such thing as actual, if you're connected to the internet in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't matter what it is. If somebody is determined enough, they will be able to find it. But you can make it difficult enough that they can't. And that's largely what this is this is how you make yourself difficult to damage. That's the best way to put it. Using this as the way you make yourself very difficult to be damaged by somebody else, because if you're using the email masking and stuff like that, they'll never know your actual email address, and they won't be able to tie it in and things like that. So just stuff that in all reality, anybody who's, let's face it, we live kind of somewhat on the edge of outside of society of, people don't like what we believe, how we think. And because of that, they may want to look for things to use against us. This sort of stuff is a way to protect yourself from that, where it can't be. You can say whatever. The beautiful part about it is, like I have with some of my alternative identities, you can say whatever you want, however you want, to whoever you want, without any of your repercussions, because it's not tied to you. They can't find it. They don't know. And it lets you vent when you want to, which is great. Lets you really lambast on it. And the flip side is, which we'll get into on this as well, is there's the other side is, you can create a woke profile. And if somebody happens to be coming after you or another one of your fake profiles, they think you're there because you're not going to use your woke one. They think you're on their side, and you can kind of help steer them off into something else and steer them out of the weeds and direct them away from yourself. It's just another way to protect yourself. Just neat little ideas that we put together with this workshop. So like I say, I'm going to announce that. Jake, who's interested in it, he's in the 1% group. I know there's a couple guys in the 10% group. I'll be posting it in there. We've got most of this agenda laid out. We've got still have a little bit of homework to do. For our fringe minorities, the dirty little truck drivers who, needed to have a shot because they live in a box by themselves. Anyhow, like I said, I dropped the join link, so if anybody wants to pop in and cut it up and chat, but I guess that's the kind of thing I'm looking for is, some ideas, suggestions going forward. If, for a different channel, different direction, I'm going to try, because I do spend so much time in the mountains in the summertime on the motorcycle with Abby. I've got some great views. I mean, some of the places that I go they're literally breathtaking, and it's right in my backyard. It's right outside. It's an hour and a half away. Like literally a 2-hour ride and a 4-hour hike. And I'm sitting on top of, and I literally mean the top, the very peak of mountain, and I'm overlooking the whole town of Canmore and the lake. And I've had countless people say, very nice Photoshop picture. It's not Photoshop. That's real. So that's the sort of stuff that I see. And in all reality, I think that's probably a good thing to put out. Good imagery. Maybe talk less about this. Maybe do counter espionage. Exactly. With the whole book angle and talking about that, I don't really want to combine things like that. So I may end up doing another. I haven't figured it out yet. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, it's going to take a while to write that. But I might start kind of building something along those lines, because I know some guys here and some guys in our 10%, and quite frankly, with most of the women that I talk to, guys don't know how to talk to women and do that. And it's just so goddamn easy. It's not even funny. So, part of the whole thing with the book is I may end up starting to do a bit of a course or a class on that down the road. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, that's probably a year away. It's a big project, but since I'm killing this is the time to announce it because I don't know when else I'm going to. So, but trying to think what else. It's been fun. I've enjoyed chatting with you guys, sharing my bullshit, my mistakes, fun along the way. And yeah, last week I was sick as hell. There was no way I could do this. I wasn't coherent. I couldn't hardly string a sentence together. It probably took me half of an hour to make that thumbnail to say, "Hey, I'm sick as F and I'm not going to be able to do a show." I couldn't do anything. I was a complete wreck. But yeah, I like that idea. Paddle to a Polynesian island, throughout the EMP in the workshop. Can commence for sure. But yeah, those are some of the things we're going to go through on that. I figured I would talk about that. I was actually going to talk about that last week, but didn't get the chance to because of how I was. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I got. Like I said, I'm going to do my typical live show afterwards, or my not live show. This is a live show. Wake up. My Zoom with my guys in my community for the last time with my community before I shut that down too. So just going to kind of go a different direction and focus on business. I've been trying to get a few things going and they've been slow. And like I said, I achieved a very high level of success before in the past. I know how much work it took to do that. And I've kind of been, to be completely honest, I've been kind of half-assing it. I've been putting in an effort, but not a solid enough effort. And I need to put in some more time, more dedication. The thing, I need to practice what I preach. This doesn't earn me a penny. And it takes some of my time and takes some of my attention, takes time to come up with a subject, takes time to research it, put together an outline and that sort of stuff. And because of that, I'm not properly chasing my own excellence that I promote and tell you guys to. So I need to, quite frankly, shut the fuck up and practice what I preach. Not much of a leader when I'm doing that. So that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully we'll build something from there. Like I said, we talked about doing more. Jared and I have chatted a little bit about doing some more in the 10%, maybe trying to grow that group, do a little more with that, get more involved. And I've got one of the Chasing Excellence thing, one of the things that I'm working on, which I don't know if you're still watching the show, Phil, or not, but if you are, pop on the chat there again. I'd appreciate that. Friend of mine is involved with, or friends with, a couple of guys who have a business networking group out in Eastern Canada, and they want to make inroads out west. And because of my connection, he's put us together and we've been talking. So it sounds like we have tentatively booked a venue in June in Calgary, and tentatively in July in Vancouver. And they're going to come out because I've ran a bunch of these before, and they're going to host, but I'm going to be there with them, and I'm going to become their guy out here if all of that goes. And we're very close on that. So we didn't actually agree to anything today, but it sure looks like that's going to happen. So that's going to involve a little bit of time as well. And I'm going to make some money on that deal. So once again, like I said, don't make anything on this, and I need to focus on excellence and build stuff, and surrounding myself with, professionals and business people and whatnot is just going to help lift me and my businesses and stuff up. And that's what I need to do first. That's my first and foremost focus. Once I get really up and rocking and kind of have a system in place and I don't really want to say on cruise control, but once I have a system in place and I'm more efficient at it, I won't need as much time. I might come back to this, whether I do this as a podcast or whether I, like I said, do something different. But this channel is done as of today, like I said. So, like I said, the join link is dropped. There he is. Cool. We'll add him in here. Hey, Phil, you're muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I've got you in my headset. I assume everybody else can hear you too because it's in here good. So, because you're in Calgary, right?
I sure am. Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, Phil's a member of. There he is. Cool. Phil's a member of the 10% community, and we've actually we went for drinks a couple weeks ago. Three guests.
It worked out pretty good, eh?
Did it?
Well, we kind of got lucky. We randomly saw people I knew that had girls, and then I'll let Bentley tell whatever he wants to tell.
No, I'm not gonna tell shit. Whatever. We were out for drinks and we sat down at a table. That's what I'll tell. From there, that's entirely up to you. I don't care.
It's just one of those cool nights where you have almost zero plans, and then things just kind of fall into place, and you have fun. So it was pretty cool.
It was a great time. So, so I'm not sure did you hear me talking about the networking event group there that wants to start something out in Calgary?
I must admit, I just had to leave the call for a bit. I was talking with my son, so I must have missed that. But
okay, so a friend of mine is friends with some guys who have a business networking. They put on business networking events. They're social events, and I don't know how else to describe it. Kind of like a social, almost club atmosphere for business networking for young professionals. And they're out east, and they want to expand out west. So because my friend knows me, he's put them in touch with me, and I'm going to help them do that out here. And by the sounds of it, become the face of that out here. So looks like we're going to do one in June in Calgary and one in July in Vancouver. So yeah, I'll get more details when I know that. So I don't know if there's many other guys around, but yeah, that are in the Calgary area. So we used to have a guy in Vancouver, but he's in India and then going to the States. So I'm not sure if he's back yet or not. But yeah. So what's happening with you?
What's happening with me? Not much, man.
Yeah.
I was telling you, I know. Can other people hear us? I don't even know. Is there other people?
Yep.
Good. All I see is you. So
okay. Yeah. No. There's people listening, but yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that the yoga instructor. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I like to talk about in this season of my life. I've kind of been, you get almost PTSD from getting screwed by a girl, right? And so it was nice that after I went to do hot yoga, whatever, the instructor is super. She's good looking, and then I just went in there afterwards, and it was pretty funny. Like I went in there, and I'm in good shape. Like I'll be humbly admit, I'm in good shape. I've been working hard, right? So
he's in very good shape.
And in hot yoga, I'm basically like in my underwear, right? So, and then I went in there and I kind of teased her a little bit, and she like full on, like within 5 seconds, like came up and gave me a hug, and then like was trying to get me to come to her classes more, and like was showing me the yoga moves, and it was so cool. It was like, oh, okay. So it just made me think of like the importance of getting that abundance mindset and get out of your head and like getting stuck on that one-itis and stuff, because there's so many women out there that are high interest. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't remember if there was a little bit of alcohol involved the night we went out, so I'm not 100% sure I remember all the conversation, but I know that's one thing I tell guys when they say that, the difficulty coming up with the abundance mindset. The thing to remember, people, is there's 8 billion people on the planet. Half of them are women. So that means you have 4 billion options. Do you really think there's only one?
Well, I think for me, I'm big on mindset right now. It's the mindset of like getting that kind of crushedness from the women. It really cuts your self-esteem. So it's like the mindset of like abundance of women. I get that, but it's more so like the worthiness and ability to do it that takes some time to redevelop that back, right? Because you got fucking crushed, or I got crushed, right? Like it was before you get the realization of female psychology, when that happens to you for the first time, which is why a lot of us are here, it fucking crushes your self-esteem and everything. It takes a little bit to get back into the groove of it, right? At least that's my struggle in this season.
Yeah, I was crushed on Saturday night. Hopefully that was a bit of an example for you that, it's part of it is you just, you have it in your mind and you know it, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just takes time. It's like
easy.
anything in life.
Yeah.
Like I was on Rich's podcast a few weeks back, and that's what he said. He's like, takes time. Like you have a whole lifetime of conditioning. You're not just going to get out of that in a week. Like it takes some time to get out of it. So trust
Yeah.
in the process. Steadily do little things every day that you can. And one thing I heard it said, and I really like about, let's say, self-esteem or confidence. It's esteem in yourself, right? So the way they said it is like building rapport with yourself, not doing things externally for external validation, but it's the little things I've noticed that are really powerful too. Like at the end of the day when I'm tired, instead of just being like, oh, I'll do dishes tomorrow, stepping up and doing the dishes anyways, like developing those little wins like that, which has been really powerful, and redeveloping self-esteem is like, oh, you can do it. Or like I said, just taking that extra 2 seconds at the end of yoga. I could have just walked out, gone home and been like, oh, whatever. But I went out of my way and took that little 2 seconds to go and talk to her, and then it worked out. And that's the little builders that you got to do over and over that help you in all areas, not just women either, right? That's, they fuck us up the most, so we talk about them the most. But that, I think that applies to every area of life too, business and stuff. It's those little wins over time that add up.
Yeah, indeed, for sure. So what does that mean? We're going out on Friday night or what?
Well, so I'm glad you asked, because I was going to text you, but I'm going up to my dad's in Red Deer this weekend, Friday after work. So I don't know what you're doing Friday evening. I can stop in and visit for a little bit on my way up.
Yeah. Well, you've got my number, so shoot me a text. Let me know when you're coming, because I am planning to maybe cut out a little bit early on Friday. We'll see. Just sort of see how things go. I've got most of my stuff done for this week. I've got a couple of things that I need to finish up, but if nothing else comes in between now and Friday, then I'm hoping to get out of here around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But yeah, let me know one way or the other. We'll figure it out. So yeah, okay. Jake says good point here. That's why competence leads to competence. Yeah, cuts a lot of fences in our mind. That's 100% right. Building confidence in yourself, and sometimes in order to build confidence, you got to take a chance. You got to make mistakes. Sometimes you got to have the balls to sit down at a table full of people, look over at a girl, put your hands around the back of her neck, and kiss her.
Why do you say that? It was brought up in, I think, the 10% chat. Someone had asked about confidence, and the way that I described it, is like, I think confidence is two aspects. We always look at like confidence in the competency side, which is obvious, but there's a kind of secondary side to confidence, which is also not being afraid of doing things wrong. There's not only like the ability to do, but also in the ability to not be afraid to try, right? So that's the aspect that, like, people are so afraid of, that I think confidence gets left out a lot of, is that, yes, it's in your competency, that's part of it, but it's also in having that willingness to do it anyways.
Absolutely.
And that's the tricky part.
Well, a big trick with that, so, you're about 20 years younger than I am, something like that. Is coming to the understanding as well that it's okay to make a mistake, because as long as you learn from it, it becomes a learning experience, and it becomes a growth opportunity. And that's a big thing, is never be scared to do that, because it's an opportunity to grow if it doesn't work, and you also never know when it's going to work. So that's a big thing, is most people, when they say that they're scared of failure, they're actually scared of, I think, in my opinion, they're scared of success. Or
agreed.
They if they do fail and it doesn't work out, they're scared they're going to dwell on it, and they're not going to learn the lesson. Making a mistake is no big deal. Like, just step back and go, okay, this didn't work. Now, why didn't it work? Look at it, analyze it, figure it out, and go, oh, okay, so it was this piece here that didn't work. We're going to remove that, and we're going to do it differently next time. But that involves work. You've got to take a chance, do something, fail, and then you've got to actually take the time and objectively and honestly look at it.
Yeah, it's like a muscle, right? It's something that you develop. It's very difficult because it's internal. At least, experience, what I've kind of logically been able to understand about myself, and that is exactly what you said. I'm not necessarily, like, I'm a good talker. I've always been very charming and stuff. So like, and the rejection aspect of it isn't scary for me. It's the opposite. Now in this season, I'm scared of actually getting what I want and then being like, oh shit, now I got to do stuff. Right? Like now, like my insecurities are in the way. Like all these things that show up, you're like, oh fuck, like I talked my way into it. Now I got to step up. Right? And what I've recognized is that, like, I think the problem for myself, and I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone else relates with it, is like the problem is that when I do it, I internalize the external event, and I like demoralize myself as a human being. Like I internalize it and make it an identity thing. I failed because I'm an idiot. I failed because I'm not good enough. She left me because I was pathetic or weak or so, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to
Yeah.
change that whole cycle of thinking that it happens where it's like I'm taking all these external events, looking and seeking validation from them and internalizing them to like put myself down. So like
Yeah.
it's a losing strategy at all times,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Well, and that's, yeah. Something we've kind of beaten around the bush on here. We went out for drinks, and we went several places. But the last place we went to, Phil knew one of the guys that was sitting at one of the tables, and there was a group of girls with him and whatever. And he's talking about, the whole, I'm scared that I'm going to feel like an idiot. We're beating around the bush on it, but literally what happened is we sat down. We weren't there for 2 minutes, and I just looked over at this girl and literally put my hand around the back of her head, pulled her in, and started kissing her.
Yeah.
But could it have failed? Of course it could have. But
Yeah.
am I an idiot? I was the only guy in the bar who was willing to do it.
Yeah.
Is that really an idiot? It's you're not an idiot for taking a chance and for putting yourself out there and having the confidence to do it. And it's it reaps rewards. So if it fails, never tell yourself that, or never internalize it that way where, geez, I'm an idiot, I shouldn't have done that. No, you should have. You definitely should have. That's how you build it, and that's how it comes out. And then, before long, it's there all the time. The worst part is it's there all the time, then you can't turn the shit off.
Yeah. Well, and that's like for me in this season, because I was raised by a single mom, as some people know. So it's like they kind of breed that bold masculineness out of you, right? But I'm realizing that the world, not even just women, but especially women, respond better to boldness, right? So it's like we all think that, especially with today's world of like all the like feelings and like acceptance and all that, is like everyone thinks if I just tread lightly and don't step on toes and I'm nice and do all this stuff, then I'll get what I want. But like that's what my recipe for life has been up until now, and I can 100% guarantee you that does not work in almost any way. So it's really the opposite is what I'm learning and having to rewire my brain about, is that like, no, that's what people like, let's say for instance, in your situation, like, yeah, we were sitting around the table, and for context for everyone, it was fucking hilarious because we sit down, we're there for like about 7 minutes or something like that, and then Bentley turns around and talks to this girl, and like literally in less than 2 minutes is making out with her. We're like, so like, and then her two friends and the guy I know, who eventually cock blocked me, which was annoying, sitting there going like, oh, like look at them, this is so funny, like ha ha ha. So it's like it makes me think like you're always going to have those naysayers on the sideline that are going to be trying to talk down, when in actuality they're probably just jealous that they aren't where you are, right?
100%.
So me being I was pretty cut myself. I remember most of the night. So the other girl was really high interest in me, but she was sitting on the other side of the guy that I knew who was trying to get with her, right? So
Yeah.
I remember she looked at me, and like, just I'm using this story for context on the importance of boldness and how females respond to it. She looks over and she's like, oh ha ha ha, like look at them, this is so funny. And I looked her right in the eyes and pointed at her. I said, you shouldn't be laughing because you're next. Right. And it like 2 minutes later, she was like putting lip chap on. It was fucking hilarious, or gloss, whatever. Like looking back now, I didn't think much because we were drinking and stuff. But looking back now, she was prepping herself because that bold made her wet. You know what I mean? And then I got cock blocked because he was trying to get with her. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good one there. Jake's giving you a good pat on the back there. Resonates huge. Realizing that not changing your ways is why you continue to fail.
Yeah,
and that's absolutely true. Like if what you're doing for you isn't working, like the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's the definition of insanity. Change the formula. You know, you keep baking a cake and getting vanilla. Well, it's because you're not putting chocolate in. Put some goddamn chocolate in if you want a chocolate cake. Like, you know, so you have to do that. But yeah. Yeah, like you said, we were a little cut. I honestly don't remember how it started. I remember we sat down, we were laughing. The next thing I know, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I'm, you know, whispering in her ear. She says, you know, let's get out of here. Take me home.
It had to have been less than 2
I'm with the guys, and I'm not staying at home.
Yeah, that was good. And then another thing I want to add to this that's helped me, and I don't know if it'll help anyone else in their season. I heard Andrew Tate say this, and I try not to quote him too much, but I like a lot of what he says. Is he's like, anger is a very powerful force if used properly. So I'm using, because I recognize the discrepancy between my old ways and my new ways, but like my nervous system, my belief system doesn't want me to go to the boldness. It's afraid of it, right? It's different, it's challenging, but I have been practicing using, like, when I get angry and frustrated with myself. I think he said once, he's like, the problem with you is that you loathe your own weakness. And I think that's so true. Is like, for me in this season, it's like I recognize and see and have taken the red pill metaphorically. Yeah. But the rest of me and my nervous system and my body and my beliefs are still in blue. So it's like there's that disconnect, and it creates such anger and frustration. But I'm learning to, like, the other day, Bentley called me. It was perfect. I was so angry that I just went to the gym, and I literally worked out so hard I almost made myself puke. You know what I mean? Like, so I channeled it into a way that was better. And that's the key in these seasons when we go through this stuff, to not let it destroy you, to utilize, because it's so true. I've never been as motivated as I am right now to be better. And once that starts to subside, and the pain of what I went through, blah, 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 starts to subside, that motivation is going to go. So I want to learn to utilize that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, push through it. Use it. Absolutely, it is. It's a powerful tool. Use it. You know, and use it to get pissed off at yourself, like you said. You know, and I agree with most of the stuff Andrew says as well. I don't have a problem with Andrew Tate or anybody bringing him up on this channel in any way, shape, or form. Never have. You know, it is, yeah, and been there too in life, where you loathe yourself. You know, you hate that you don't have the balls to go talk to her. You know, you hate that you don't have the guts to take that next step. So, and I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm a guy. I make mistakes. I'm a human being. I make mistakes every single freaking day. That's just part of life. And there's been times I've hated myself and I haven't done it. And there's been other times where, you know, I swung for the fences and struck out. And there's other times I swung for the fences and, you know, hit a grand slam. So but you won't hit the grand slam. You won't, like Gretzky says, you know, you miss 100% of the goals. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. If you never take a shot, you're never going to hit anything. So you got to take a shot. You're going to miss some, but you're going to hit some too. And sometimes you're going to hit a beauty. So don't be scared to take it.
Oh, that makes me think of using our scenario again for everyone else watching. It's kind of weird not being able to see anyone, but it made me think. So that night we saw my friend, we were there for a few minutes, and it was one of the weirdest things I've ever had happen to me, but it showed me that there's a perspective outside of your own, of what's actually going on based on not just what you think. So what happened was, we sat down there, and then there was these two really hot chicks that sat down, right? Like the brunette and the blonde. I don't know if you remember. The blonde was super tatted out, and she was talking to some other guy. But there's a brunette that sat down and she looks at me. I've never seen this girl in my life. And she's like, "Do you work out?" And like, I was wearing like a low cut shirt. Like I said, I'm in good shape. So I'm like, yeah, obviously. Yeah, obviously, right? Like, kind of like joking with her. And she's like, "Where do you work out?" And I'm like, "In Marda Loop, which is the area that I work out in." She's like, "Is it Go Performance that you do?" And that's the name of my gym. And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, do you know," I can't remember, Colleen, let's say, or whatever. And I'm like, "No." Like, what does she look like? And she's like, "Oh, she has tattoos. She has dark hair with a blonde streak." I'm like, "Oh, Cruella de Vil." Because she literally looks like Cruella. She's pretty fucking hot, but she looks like Cruella de Vil. And she's like, "Oh yeah, like she saw you there, blah blah blah." And in my mind later, I've said this to Bentley, I'm like, how the fuck did that girl know that I went to the gym? I've never met her. Like, is this other chick taking pictures of me or something? You know what I mean? I was like, there's no way that just verbally she described me and she was able to identify me later at a bar. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on. There's only 1.3 million people in Calgary. That shouldn't be that hard.
So it made me think, I was like, the leveling up is working, but women aren't overt in this shit, right? So like women are around me everywhere, are probably super attractive, but I have to step up and be more bold to make it happen. Because if they're taking pictures of me and showing their friends and shit, and that girl Cruella shows up with her boyfriend all the time, right? Like, and I've never talked to her, so it's just, fucking. I'm reading this comment, like, it was like I didn't think of it in the moment, but later I was like, wait a second, like, how did she know that about me? And I've never met her in my life. It was creepy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good night. We're gonna do it again for sure. Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
Dinner right now.
She might have creeped you online and would show her friends. You'll be the guy they fantasize about.
Yeah, but how do you find? And maybe I'm just getting old and I don't know how social media works. How do you find someone that you don't know? Like, can you just be in proximity with another human being and find their social media?
I don't have a fucking clue.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, there has to be some way that she found, like, maybe she asked, no matter what way she found it, that's hilarious to me, is that, like, I've gotten myself to a point where obviously I'm physically appealing to other women. I just need to get that, again, an Andrew Tate thing that I like. He says, fix that frame in your mind, how you see yourself. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing myself as the way that I actually am in the real world. So I need to work on that.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Jake says it right there. Yeah. Hey, what's that guy's name? That's how they do it. All it takes is one. All it takes is one to know. They gossip like, I have 3 sisters. So I've kind of got a bit of an inside track on that with, the whole women thing. They gossip like you cannot begin to imagine. There is absolutely nothing they don't. If one girl knows one thing, every other one knows. They do not. It's literally passed around like.
I think I just connected the dots. I know what it is now. With that, I think thanks for who shared that. I didn't see you.
Jake. Jake did.
Jake? I think I connected the dots. So there's one trainer there. She's a cute little thing, fake tits, terrible face. I almost can't get over it, but she always flirts with me like, hey Trouble, like, what are you doing here and stuff, and she always likes my Instagram stuff. That's probably what it is. Yeah,
they're friends with her. They found you. Yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
To me, cool. Like, right on. That shit about like a guy doing that to a girl, you'd be a creep. You know what I mean? Like, but that's what they do.
Yeah. Oh, we do it too, just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think to the same degree. You know what I mean? Like, not on. With each other to fucking talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a good one. I had it before there, and then he put some other ones up. But yeah, the main regrets I have are the ones where I never took a chance. 100%. And that's not just women. That's just life in general. I've had that in business too. I had one where I didn't take a chance in business and kind of got nervous and cold feet and scared, and turns out it would have been fantastic. But sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to put it on the line because
I have another cool example, Bentley, of this. So I'm in maybe too much over analyzing life, but a good example, I was playing poker with some friends a few weeks back and I was fucking dominating, right? Like I had more chips than everyone else combined. And it made me think the lesson in it, like the downfalls of being passive is not necessarily in the moment, but how later on it can come back and bite you in the ass, right? So there was 3 of us in this hand. The 2 of them went all in, and I could have easily gotten the pot, right?
Yeah.
So I had nothing in my hand, but I could have just been bold and been like, yeah, okay, whatever I call. It would have done 2% of what I had in my chips. But I was like, yeah, whatever, let them run it out. And I would have won on a pair of 2s on the flop or on the river. So like I would have won. And then later it turned out that
I'm a poker player too. That was the right play. Folding was
the right play. But I mean, like, my thoughts are like, we bet $5 on this game, and it's a bunch of friends. If I'm at a fucking casino, but like, I was just in my mind, I was like, no, I'll just fold, whatever. But if I would have just done it, I would have got both of them out at the same time, and the only guy left had like 2 blinds left. I could have folded 2 blinds and won. So, but what ended up happening is I folded it, and then the guy who won that hand took out the other two people and all the rest of their chips, and then came back and got me out of the game. So I was like, fuck. Like, I had this in the bag. All I had to do was that one last little thing, but I was timid.
That was the right move. That was the right move. Folding was the right move there. Like, played poker enough. I know that was.
Yeah, like it was, but it was just the lesson in it. I was like, just that one little bold move, which would have barely affected my chips at all, and I could have taken out and won the game basically 2 hands later. So it was just, I get what you're saying with poker, but yeah.
The hard part with that, like, the difference with that is, opposed to women or anything else, like, is now he doesn't double up, he triples up, and now he's a bigger threat. That's
exactly, yeah.
So the math on that and the possibilities on that is much better. So, yes, sir. All right, man. Well, we got another guy here. We'll bring Kevin in a minute. Thanks for coming in and chatting. And yeah, let me know when you're coming up here on Friday, how things are going, and I'll keep you in the loop as well, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good, man.
Okay, take it easy, Phil. All right. How's it going, Kevin?
I'm doing great, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. Pretty good.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Last week I was worried about you.
Oh, God.
I was hoping that COVID didn't take you out.
No, it wasn't COVID. COVID would have been probably easy compared to that. So, but yeah,
I'm glad you're feeling better.
That's life. It happens. So bounce back. Away we go.
Well, it's good to see you and Phil. Let me know about the mic, man. And my mic's very sensitive.
You're good. So, I hear you fine. Yeah.
Good to see him moving on from the one-itis. I was hoping to come in with him. Me and Phil talked offline and all that. It's good to see him. I'm glad you guys had an epic evening.
We did. We had a good time. So that's the great part about the group is when you do get to actually interact with the people. That's the best part, because now you're hanging out with guys that are like-minded, that kind of stuff. It's
I'm looking forward to the book you're talking about, plus the tutorial. I think it's going to be good, man.
The book's ways away.
When it started, I remember a week before last, you talked about dating profiles, which is a basic way of keeping anonymity.
Yeah.
It's my main thing is you don't want to be deceptive to the people the chicks that you might be meeting. Nope. But how do you feel about just like obviously everybody here knows my name's Kevin.
Yeah.
But just put like K or, something like that, to just not put everything out there, not put your city.
Putting your city, I mean, most of the apps, unless you're paying for the premiums, you can't hide where you are.
Yeah.
I haven't paid for them for quite a while, so I'm not 100% sure exactly how.
Yeah, I'm not even on any right now. I just kind of wanted to bring it up for the masses. It's probably not a good idea to put especially if your name.
If you're travel or you're on vacation, you don't want the city you live in on there. Just your location of where you are, because you don't necessarily want them to know, especially if you're looking for a short-term fun or something like that. You don't want to weed everybody out who's like, oh, well, he's just a tourist. Because when I'm out in Banff, there's a lot of tourists there. So there's a lot of that. But
so the local chicks know that you're probably just a dude in heat trying to get it right. So
at the end of the day, it's the exact same thing. Exact same thing with them, right? It's the evolution of desire. If you've ever read the book, Sexual Strategies, women is the 3 P's: provisioning, protection, parental investment. So for women, it's all about that. So their whole thing is relationship, because it's the thing in the brain that they can't control. It's the hindbrain that you have no control over. Anybody who wants to argue with me, I'm going to ask you one question: are you alive? Do you tell your heart to beat every time it beats? Do you tell yourself to take a breath every time you breathe? Do you tell your eyes to blink every time you blink? No, you don't. It's the part of your brain you don't control. This same thing controls that factor, that they have no choice. No matter how much you want to argue against it, you can't control this. And same with us. We can't control our urges with them.
Our primal urges. Yeah, they're there.
It's this whole strategy, this whole thing behind that is literally your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your eyes blink, your hormones work. That's how it is. So, like you say, guys, I don't want to deceive women that, I'm just looking for a quick thing. but women will do the absolute exact same thing, where it's like, well, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. Or it's one of the first questions, like I know personally, it's one of the first questions I get asked all the time.
What are you looking for? Yeah.
I'm looking for a long-term relationship. What are you looking for? Oh, okay. So literally that would be like a guy saying to a girl as soon as she matches, hey, I'm looking to bang your brains out. What are you looking for? Because on a sexual strategy standpoint, those are 100% equal. Men are looking for sex. Women are looking for security. So when a woman says that, I'm looking for security, it's literally the same thing as a guy saying I'm looking for sex. So, I don't just offer that up because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They won't look at it like that.
Yeah, I get that else too, especially on a first date. What are you looking for? They don't even say this is what I'm looking for. Kevin, what are you looking for? And then I always answer a question with a question. It's like, well, what are roles and responsibilities are you prepared to take on the relationship? Because if you're seriously asking that question, because I can kind of feel the mood and feel what's going on, I'll say something funny like, well, what I'm really looking for is how my dick looks like inside your pussy, and see how they react to it. And I've got both reactions.
Yeah.
I've
never tried that.
What the fuck? This pervert. I'll get my own ride home. But 2 out of 3 times I'll be like, oh, But you laugh it off and you go on. But you're right. It's like the way it goes. The women control the sex, men control the relationship. It's almost like kind of Phil was touching on when he was talking. He's still watching. You're finally getting over your one-itis, and I can tell that because you went out with Bentley and you see that, other women do exist, and you see how it can quickly escalate, like Bentley did. You must have been wearing your best cologne that night and went straight to tongue action.
Well, actually, it was whiskey. Yeah.
Whatever, it worked, right?
Yeah.
But like Phil saw, like he kept saying, maybe be bold, and it's not about being bold; it's about being direct. 9 out of 10 women would love for you to just not beat around the bush because they put up with it from the last 6 dates they went on. Of guys just trying to act like what they think they want and just to try to get in their pants. And probably only 6 of them did. Yeah. And the other 3 that did get it because they bought enough drinks. But women love when you're just direct with them. I'm not saying be perverted. Don't be saying I want to tie you up and stick it in your ass on the first date. You don't want to do that. But
why not?
Know your audience, right? Know your audience. But the main lesson I think Phil learned is when you're direct with women, they appreciate that a lot more than trying to throw some bullshit lines at them.
Of course.
Trying to throw some, Casanova type shit to romance them because they've heard it. It doesn't work. But when you tell them, hey, you look really good tonight, and I would love to show you my house, and we'll see what happens from there. And that's putting it lightly because we're on YouTube. But it's not about being bold, Phil. It's about being direct.
I've never been monetized on not being
anything. They love that. My ex-girlfriend, she was straight up. She was like, I love the way you asked me to do so-and-so. I love the way you told me that felt good. They love directness, and you can't do it with anyone. You don't just walk up at a girl in a coffee shop and be like, hey, I know it's 9 a.m, but at 9 p.m, I want to be inside you. You don't say something like that. But in a situation like you were in, Bentley, you knew it was time to be direct and tell that girl you wanted to make out, and she reciprocated.
I didn't tell her she did.
Well, you told her it was sign language, tongue language, whatever you want to call it. But
you talked about the whole thing of the girls ask, what are you looking for? You can. What I usually say, or I always say it, is well, we're just meeting. I'm looking to see if there's any chemistry, to see if there's anything going forward. Yeah. It's complete honesty, right? We can't discuss a relationship if there's no chemistry. And then when women do want to discuss that, if they try and push the whole, relationship thing, my follow up to that is, and I've told almost every single woman that I have dated in the last, since I left my wife in 15, is when I get a woman, well, I'm looking for a relationship. Well, congratulations. Good luck. And you're going to find exactly what you're looking for. And they're all like, oh, good. I'm going to find what I'm looking for. Yeah. But you're looking for the wrong thing. Because you're going into dating with the mindset of, I'm looking for a relationship. You meet a guy, you kind of like him, you hang out with him, you spend some time with him, because your mind is focused on fucking relationship. That's what you focus on. And you start spending your time with him, you're focusing on the relationship. Finally, about a year later, year and a half later, the progression follows. Just watch people. Watch all your friends when they meet a girl. This progression plays out almost exactly to a T every time. It's usually somewhere around 16 to 18 months. The girl realizes, holy shit, I'm in a relationship, but I'm in a relationship with somebody I don't really want to be in a relationship with. Why? Because they found what they were looking for. When you go looking for your keys, when you find your keys, you quit looking for them, don't you? So you go looking for a relationship. When you find somebody, you found a relationship, but you haven't found the person. I don't give two shits about a relationship at all. Yeah. I look for a person. I look for a person that I'm compatible with, that I have chemistry with, that I like to have sex with, that I like to have fun with, can have conversations with. The relationship will just be. I don't need to find a relationship. When I find somebody that meets all of that, it's just there.
Yeah. It's not something you search for.
Yeah, learn to approach it from the correct angle, and it's easy to find. Well, it's still not easy to find because there's too many cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs ones out there. But at least when you find,
you and I both know, the older you get, that's more the ones you find. That's why they weren't
crazier.
Yeah, crazier. Yeah, you said it.
They're all crazy.
Yeah, well, in their sense, but
exactly.
You're right to the point that they, it goes back to a saying that I heard a long time ago. Men get married to the woman that they fell in love with, and they don't want her to change, and she does. Women a lot of times fall in love with the guy that they think they can change into what they want to be, and he doesn't. And that's why 3 out of 5 marriages end, especially in North America. Because it's the fantasy of what they think it could be, and it doesn't turn out. Mm-hmm. And that's why 85% of women initiate divorces, not men.
Yep.
But it's like you said, they go into it even on a first date thinking, okay, 20 years from now we could have this, and this, instead of living in the moment and just let's learn about each other. And, and then, like you said, it's not even 12 to 18 months. Usually it's 6 months later, 90 days.
Yeah.
That's when they get your attention and you're like, okay, yeah, now she's my chick. And then that's when they change and they're like, this is not really what I wanted. So I'm going to be a bitch and, make sure we can end this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I mean, a lot of times, like when you're aware of it, you can spot it in 6 months. But, if the two people, are searching for that when they get together, the timeline lines up. Like it's almost like clockwork.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah. So Steph Frenchman, I know cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So now I want to jump on because that's all Phil on. Yep. I'm just so glad he's moving in the right direction from his oneitis.
Feels good.
He can already see that, man. Hey, yeah, they're, yeah, Nigerians are sexy. I feel I get it, buddy. But, there's a lot of us out there, man. I'm glad you're moving in the right direction. Sounds great.
Yep. So, and then, like I said, for me, I'm going to focus on business, which is why I'm unfortunately killing this thing, because this takes time and energy, and I need to practice what I preach. I need to focus more and bear down and actually accomplish.
Yeah, I remember you saying that earlier in the show that this is going to be the last.
This is it. Yeah.
One of these. Okay. Well.
Yeah. I've got a couple of scheduling conflicts in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, it's summertime. I'm close to closing a business deal. I've got another one where somebody offered me a position that also allows me to continue to build my business on the side or in conjunction with or whatever. So, but all this stuff is going to take time. And like I said, I'm in the West. I start the show on Eastern time at 8:00. So the time doesn't work for me. And if I shift it to a time that's reasonable for me, it's going to be too late for the guys out East. And most of the viewers, like most of the population of the country lives in the East.
Well, that's
So
why, yeah,
yeah, and
Well,
most
trust
guys are.
me, anybody, especially in the 10%, we fucking understand, man. I mean, there's not going to be any
Yeah.
repercussions from that.
And it's, it's a bit of a grind, and, guys in 10% are talking about wanting more calls. Like us admins have been having a discussion about it for about a week or so now about,
Mhm.
upping the level of calls, when to have them and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been
That's kind
talking
of a
with
private
Darren
thing. Yeah. This
and some
is,
other things. Yeah, we got a lot of things in the works. I don't know
yeah,
how many people we got on right now, but if you're in the 10%, we are going to get more involved.
yeah,
We're going to start making it a lot more frequent type
yeah,
meetings, but we're still in our infancy. We haven't been around for long, so we're
yeah.
not going to go too hard too fast, and you
Well,
being in business just like I am, it's great if you can, but it works out better in the long run if you just let things fall into place.
yeah. Like I said, about a year ago, yeah, it was a year ago and a little bit more. I was running the calls in the 10% group. Moff and Jaron were busy and didn't have time to, so I stepped up and took care of that. We were doing them bi-weekly at that point in time. But we were doing them kind of subject focused, which we sort of haven't been doing lately. And I found that they created a little bit more engagement. The formula behind the scenes of that, because it was what I was doing, and I had some people helping me as well. The formula behind the scenes is something that not a lot of people knew. So, and that, like I said, was the antithesis of how this show came about. Was like, well, why don't I just do this on YouTube? Most of the guys, for whatever reason, don't come, don't watch, don't join. But so, and like I said, this thing hasn't really grown. Doesn't look like I'm anywhere remotely close to monetization on it, and I need to get business and revenue up and going, and enough is enough. I've been coasting for too long. It's time to bear down and build my shit like I've been talking about. Like I tell everybody else to do. Like I said, I need to lead by example. I need to do what I talk about, not just talk about it. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't
I
don't respect people who don't do what they talk about, and I'm doing that, and I need to knock it the fuck off. I'm holding myself accountable here and pushing myself. So,
well, that's what I'm here too. We got November coming up. It's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like the time you handed me the reins to run that meeting for the 10%, I thought it went good. So we got a big support group.
Yeah,
but sometimes you do. I mean, this is great. This is fun. But like Jaron talked in his class earlier, or his show earlier, we have an analog life. This is our digital life.
Yeah, that's right.
Our analog life needs to be the focus.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this all day. I mean, me and Bentley, me and you could talk 7 days a week for 3 hours with 6 people watching and make a drop in the universe. But the way we make our dent in the universe is by living our analog life, getting that together, and then going back and teaching others how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's how I feel. So I completely respect your decision. But it's not like this is over by any means at all. But,
like I say, maybe in the future I come back, or like I said, I've got all the camera gear, I've got all the stuff, so I might just start a completely different direction. If guys choose to follow me for there, fine. But I'm thinking I might go that way. And like I said, was asked about the book thing, and I didn't think it would be. Like I said, I never thought it was going to be that big of a deal. And then I got the talk of how this actually goes and what you got to do it. And I've got to spend 4 to 6 hours a week doing that to write a book. Because, like out of that 4 to 6 hours, only an hour to an hour and a half of that's actually going to be productive. The rest is going to end up being throwaway time. You're just going to create stuff that you don't like. You're going to redo and that sort of stuff, which is a process I've never gone through. I didn't know. I don't know what it takes. So I've wrote a couple of business books for my marketing stuff, but those are a lot more focused, and I blow through those pretty quickly because they're, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's the steps to carry it out. This is what you do, and this is the details of each step. It's simple. Whereas this is more of a story, and there's going to be some back and forth and figuring out the flow and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
So because of that, that's some additional time I'm putting on my plate, and I'm not currently focused enough on building myself and my business that I always talk about and tell people to do, and my focusing on my own excellence. So, in order to do that, I've got to cut out some shit, and or I shouldn't say some shit. I have fun doing this. I do enjoy it, but it does take time and doesn't earn me $1. It doesn't earn me a penny.
You're just setting your priorities.
That's all. That's exactly right.
You're not cutting anything out. You're just setting your priorities, and everyone understands that. Me especially. And just kind of throw it out there. It took Rollo 5 years to write the Rational Mail. So I mean, good things come over time.
Yeah, that was a very research intensive. So
So
my research is. I probably should bring that out on camera.
Me and you we're the older guys in the 10%. We got guys as young as 21. So it will hopefully it'll be an example to them that at 21 you think 45 is old. No, it's not. No. You think 51 is old. Fuck no, it's not. Especially in 2023. So it's a. If anything, it's leading by example.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, we've got a bunch of young guys in there. So if this gets out to any of those guys, and you happen to be watching this long, because God, we've gone a long time. If you happen to be watching, or maybe I should cut this up and send it out. But if you have been watching, as a young guy, you may look at it and go, you're 51 years old. What the hell do I have in common with you? What do you know? You're not going to know anything from me. Well, the mistakes you're making today and that you're going to make tomorrow, I made those 30 years ago. Fixed them, recovered from them, moved on from them. I can help you save making those mistakes. I can give you the shortcuts because I've done that. I haven't done them all, but I've done a lot of them. Give you some guidance with stuff like that and other things. And I had some people that were influential to me when I was younger that helped with my growth. And I know the value of it. So, if you do happen to be a young guy and you're looking at that and thinking that, like, don't be scared to ever reach out to somebody like me and go, oh, geez, he's older guy. He's got, business and blah, 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 and life and shit on the go. Reach out. If I can help you, I will. It's just the kind of guy I am. People have helped me in the past. So when you become somebody who gets helped, you pay it forward and you help people behind you. That's just the way it is.
Exactly. It's like one of the first comments I met on your first show when we met 2 or 3 months ago when I joined the 10%. Successful people will always help you succeed. Absolutely. If they try to tear you down, I don't care how much money they make. I don't care what their status is. They're not a successful person. Mm. If they're not there to lift you up and bring you along with them, then you don't need them in your life. And learn from other people's mistakes. And I haven't made a lot of mistakes.
Lucky
I'm
bastard.
not where I want to be. But I think a real mindset is to never say, "Oh, I fucking made it. Now I'm where I want to be." You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I could sign a $10 million deal tomorrow. I wouldn't even say, "Oh shit, I made it now. I can quit." So that's why I like being in the position that I'm in. I still have to strive to be better. And even at 44, even when I'm 64, I will still have the same mindset. Yeah. And,
you don't even, like I've said, which is kind of why I like the 10% and a lot of the younger guys and helping those guys out is, I don't have kids. I don't have that legacy to pass on to. I've got nobody to, I've got nobody I'm passing it down to on my family side. So to help other guys out kind of fulfills that need. And believe me, you think you don't have it now, eventually it will come. I always thought I would never have it, could care less, didn't want them. And then eventually it gets there. It's like, geez, when I was younger, we'll leave that part out, but not exactly a stellar upbringing. So I had nothing but a very bad example. So I thought I'm going to be a terrible dad because all I know is bad. I don't know good. Hindsight being 2020, I probably could have done a decent job, but that was the reason. All I knew was fuck up. So just don't do it because I don't know how to not fuck up because it's the only thing I know. But now I'm at a point in life and I've made my mistakes along the way that, hey, if I can help somebody out, I will and build something, And
obviously you changed your family tree.
Yeah.
You didn't go down that path. We'll talk more about that, Bentley, because we got a lot of common on that aspect.
Yeah.
So, But I'll give the show back to you, man. Thanks for bringing me in. But
hey, no worries.
If Phil's still on, man, thumbs up to you, buddy. You're doing great.
He's doing good. So we've gone on for really good. Damn near an hour and a half, which is long. Remember when I first started doing this?
You're making me wish I was a Canadian. You can go to bars in Canada and just start grab a bitch and say, "Hey, make out with me."
You don't have to be from here to do that.
I usually go to Peru, but I think Vancouver is my next stop. Yeah. So
you've been to Peru?
Oh yeah, several times. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, no problem.
Yeah. So 1 week I'll stay with you, and the next time I'll get the Airbnb in Peru. Just be ready to surf and see the smallest bikinis you've ever seen in your fucking life, dude.
Cool. I'll kind of give a bit of a plug here, but there's a YouTube channel called $1 Million Bogan. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it or heard of it. He's a successful, wealthy real estate guy from Australia. A bogan is a redneck in Australia. It's what they call a redneck, is a bogan. He's very successful, rides motorcycles. And one of the things that I think is he deals with a lot of mental health shit. So I kind of connect with him on that level where I understand a lot of what he's dealing with because I've dealt with a lot of that shit in my life. And the cool part with him is he rides a Harley and he goes off-road. He goes everywhere you shouldn't go with a big bike. And believe me, I've looked at that because the mountains are 90 miles that way. And there's a lot of back roads. And I can break the goddamn thing. It doesn't matter. I know how to fix it. So I have looked at buying or acquiring or getting a hold of a bike in rough shape where it's not going to matter. I'm not going to drop my pretty one. I'm not going out to the bush with that thing. I do a little bit of, I wouldn't say off-roading, but I go into campgrounds and stuff like that. So I do some off-road. Right? Yeah. It's ultra classic. So, but Bogan rides a Road King. Like Ultra Classic is 940 pounds. A Road King is 780 or something like that. So it's still a big, heavy bike. But anyhow, where I was going with this, giving him the shameless plug, is he just did a whole series where he rode from LA down to the Bolivian Death Road, which they no longer use. It's now a tourist thing. They've actually built another road around, but there's a movie, The Butterfly Thing or whatever. I can't remember what the hell the name of the movie was, who was in it. But it was I think it might have been The Butterfly Effect. It's one where the bus goes off the cliff and down into the bottom. That was actually filmed on the Bolivian Death Road. Okay. That's where that came. Or that's where that was. So it's a famous road of a very, very dangerous place. Like more people died on the Bolivian Death Road than anywhere else in the world every year while it was open. So he wanted to ride down there by himself, solo. His bike he'd done another trip. So his bike was in LA. He flew back from Australia to LA and he rode down to Bolivia. Well, Peru's a big goddamn country, really big. Yeah. And the scenery through Peru that he rode on, like I said, I live right near the mountains and it's gorgeous out here. The stuff he rode on in Peru is absolutely equal to everything that I have here, if not even possibly better.
It's very beautiful. I usually fly into Lima and then go to the coast and surf. There's a lot of hostels. I mean, it's a cheap place to vacation, but now you can do resorts too. But yeah, it's very beautiful. But I mean, it's a huge country, but it's very desolate. You know, once you get west of the beach of the Pacific coast, I mean, it's jungle. I mean, it's literal like primitive jungle.
Yeah. If you like motorcycles, you like mountains, and you like scenery, then I recommend you go try and find his channel. Like I said, $1 Million Bogan. The Can I Ride a Harley to the Bolivian Death Road, I believe, is the series. If that's all you want to see is the Peru breathtaking scenery, it'll be the episodes that are after Lima. I think there's 2 of them. He rode for like 12 hours where it's literally sky high cliffs on this side, drop offs and ocean on that side. And the road is like, he shows his phone with the GPS map and it's literally just a squiggly line for hours. I mean, the scenery is breathtaking. It's safe. 100%. There's only 1 or 2 countries on the way down that you really need to worry about, Jake. But the one thing about Central America, getting through Central America down to South America, is a bit of a bitch. But
yeah, if you're going to do it on foot or traveling. But yeah, Peru as a country, it's very safe.
Yeah,
you don't need, as an American or North American, you don't need visas, you don't need anything. The only thing is, 2 years ago they did shut their borders down because of COVID. So I ended up going to Quito, Ecuador for 9 days, and that was it was cool. Everybody was really nice, but it wasn't like Peru. Peru is coastal party.
It's awesome. So Jake's a motorcycle guy as well. He's saying off-road Sportsters. No, I'm thinking off-road Big Twins, buddy. So one of the businesses that I'm either looking at buying a guy out or just starting it up straight up anyhow on my own, is a motorcycle salvage business, particularly Harleys, because I know them so well. So if I do that, I'll have an endless supply. Well, I shouldn't say endless supply, but a very good supply of parts. And I'm possibly looking at building a bike or two out of, some stuff that's in rough shape, because it's going to be in rough shape. The one thing about riding off-road on a motorcycle, the guys with adventure bikes or anything like that, the thing you need to understand right off the bat is you're going to drop it. Just get used to it. It's going to happen. And that's all there is to it. So, but anyway, that's why when you mentioned you've been to Peru, like the scenery is breathtaking. I know my ex-girlfriend and I, we never did get the chance to because of COVID, but we always wanted to go down to Peru and go hike Machu Picchu. But it never worked out because of COVID. We couldn't travel, and then we broke up, and so now I'll go ride down there on my motorcycle and I'll go hike the goddamn thing by myself. Or maybe I'll go with Jake.
It was only one loss. You lost a girlfriend. That was the positive loss. You just didn't go to Peru.
Oh yeah, no, I will go. I'll go eventually. That's not a big deal. It's just life goes on. It was good while we were together, and life is good without her.
Yeah. That's when you say,
"Who's on?"
Well, I understand. I wish you the best. Cool.
Yep.
See you.
Absolutely, man. Cool. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. All right. So with that, there's no point telling anybody to subscribe because, like I said, I'm killing this as of tonight. So do me a favor, smash the like button, share this around, drop some comments. And literally, I do watch the comments on, the comments that come here in the live stream don't show up on YouTube, at least not in the comment stream on YouTube. So no, that is completely gonna have to start working out if you want to pick up a Big Twin on your own. Actually, no. There's a trick to it, and it's really not very hard when you know it. I actually know a girl who's 105 pounds, and she picks up a 900 and some pound Ultra Classic without hardly any effort. It's a technique, and once you have it, it's actually really quite simple. First time I dropped it and tried to pick that son of a bitch up, I thought I was going to have a hernia. I thought I was going to kill myself. I'm in pretty decent shape, and I struggled like a son of a bitch. Then I learned the right way to pick it up, and it was no big deal. But yeah, you betcha. I could swear if I want to, God damn it. I'm not monetized anyways, and never going to be, and killing this anyhow. So, but so anyhow, I do watch the comments on YouTube. So if anybody's got some ideas of maybe something in the future or something you want to see me do, blah, 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 with the, riding the bike and living life. So that's kind of what I may end up doing. Like I said, I'm going to kill this. I might do that. We'll see how it goes. I'm not great at video editing, but I need to learn. So that might be my exercise in learning, because I need to learn that for some of the marketing stuff. I'm going to eventually be hiring somebody to do that, who is good at it, to do it full time, because that's not my forte. I'm analytics. I'm systems. I am very much your unique selling proposition. If you're in business and you don't know what makes you different than your competition, and you don't have something that very clearly defines you, you're in trouble. Get a hold of me. That's what I do. I will define it, and I will help you build a marketing message around it. And then you're not competing on service, so you won't have to compete on price, because nobody can compete with you, because there's only one you. But most people don't know how to do that and position themselves doing that. Because of my background, 30 years on the road, I dealt with so many businesses in my life that I'm the proverbial thing. They say you do something 10,000 times, you become an expert at it. Well, in the course of my career, I literally walked through the doors of an absolute, without even blinking, I can give you the math to come up with over 20,000 businesses I've walked through the doors of. So because of that, I can tell right away what's different about a business, even when the owner of the business doesn't have a clue, because I've seen so many of them. I just see it. It's to me, it's painfully obvious. It's something I've realized doing the work that I've done with the marketing is most people's messaging isn't about what makes them different and about the thing that is them. And it was my frying pan to forehead moment and the direction I'm kind of pivoting to and working on. Yeah, underwater basket weavings. Yep, you're going to. Reviews on 10,000 bathrooms. Yeah, I'm not reviewing bathrooms. Well, mind you, you know what? Hindsight being 2020, that would have been funny as shit. Literally. Film bathrooms all across the country. The absurd sometimes is the funny part. And some of them, some of them are just, they are what they are, but some of them were downright hilarious. Like I've seen an awful lot of funny bathroom humor. But anyhow, like I said, that's where I'm going from there. But if anybody's got any ideas or something you want to see, like I said, do me a favor, drop a comment on the actual YouTube part, not on this part. And I do see those, or send me a message, find me on Facebook, Bentley James. I'm not hard to find. You can actually Google me and find like I use Bentley James on here. My last name is actually Ham, H-A-2-M's. You can look me up. Bentleyham.com is my domain. I own that. So I'm easy to find there. And if you're interested in joining the 10%, want to hang out with a group of guys like us and start picking up kind of some of these calls like we did with Phil and Kevin tonight, like I do with my after show, I'm going to start doing more of those there because they're a little less time commitment, a little less prep heavy than this is. And I'm going to concentrate on business and build. So if you want to know what's going on with me in that's probably one of the best ways to find out about it. And that may end up being a direction as opposed to what I'm doing here is I may end up start doing a business type channel or something like that. I haven't figured it out. I do enjoy doing this. I prefer giving advice and helping, but it's just not growing. So it is what it is. Everybody wants advice and whatnot on women, and I've largely avoided that. But I may do a separate thing with that. Like I said, with the book, which will be a very, very naughty tale. And maybe start, from what I'm understanding, maybe start a spin-off, something to do with that. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm at the infancy stage of that project, so we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of work involved there. But that's what I got. For those who are members of my community, come join us over there on the after show. This one's going really damn long. Holy crap. I remember when I first started this, I thought, I'm going to do an hour and a half show, and struggled to come up with like 45 minutes of content. And now just free flowing tonight, blast past an hour and a half pretty easily. So, which is definitely too long for most people. And I know that, but clearly we have fun doing it. And like I say, we're going to go hang out afterwards, talk about stuff we can't talk about here, the future, where we're going, talk about business, ideas and growth, and a little bit more on the privacy that there's things I won't say here on YouTube because they're kind of part of one of the things that steals and sells your data. And I don't like that. So anyhow, that's what I've got. Signing off, I guess, for the last time. The Hammercast and Embrace Masculinity is it's done as of tonight. So I appreciate every one of you who has joined me over the almost year and tried to help me grow what we could, and it just didn't do it. I don't know. Maybe because I didn't deal with enough controversy. I didn't necessarily want to get doxxed. I don't really worry about it, but it is exactly. There you go. Thanks a lot, Jake. I really appreciate that. Smash one last like, you assholes. Damn rights. So I'm firing up the Zoom here now. I'm going to go take a quick leak and come back and chat with the boys for a while and have fun over there. So, sayonara. This is Bentley James signing off the Hammercast for the last time. And hope to see you again in the future on something new and something different. So we shall catch you then. Bye-bye for now. Oh, maybe I'll see you in the mountains. We'll see.